roll.
All right, there we go. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Tonight, I'm home alone. The VCR is rigged, the junk food is stocked, and I'm ready to go.
I think she's in a family way.
The morning stream, steady as she goes. Number 2.
Just talking to Scott Fletcher last night. I am so excited to see the Fletchers.
Me too.
It's the only chance we get to ever see those guys. We don't go to Illinois. They don't come to Utah and Denver. We have to all go to Vegas to make that happen. You know?
Yes. Yep, exactly. We need to, it's like the Stand. We all need to find that one place in Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, where is it? Wherever everybody
shit. I forgot. Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs sounds familiar, right? I haven't read the book.
Oh, you should.
I need to. It's probably the most recommended book to me to read.
Oh man.
You need to read it. But...
I've read it 5 times over. I'm ready for a 6th. I love that book.
Boulder. That's right.
Boulder.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you're going to find Miss Abigail, chat room? Remind me the main lady there, because there's a lady in Boulder who's basically got The Shining. And everyone's, all the good people who can tell, who also have the post-apocalyptic Shining. It's essentially The Shining. They all go meet up with her in Boulder, and then she's like the leader, and I can't remember. It's like Miss Abigail or Lady something. She's like a 95-year-old black lady. Oh, is she 106? That's what it is. And she makes her own bread. She makes her own bread. That's her other thing. It's fantastic. Gosh dang it, that book's good. Anyway, we're here. It's a Thursday. It's me and Brian. We got stuff to talk about, things to cover. It's a TMS, the way you like it, the way you love it. And, I'm just going to put it out there that little kids are brutal. They can be brutal. We think that.
Oh, no.
We just think we think adults are the ones fighting, they're starting wars, and that's true, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. But, sometimes kids, man. I go to this soccer game last night. I'm thinking about hockey a lot because we had our team introduction yesterday at the Delta Center. Dude, that place exploded. They had 23-something thousand people showed up just for the welcome the team night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
They had lines wrapped around the block. Yeah, big time. And some people are already saying, wow, that's already a better reception than they ever got here in Arizona. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's how we do it up here, boy. Anyway, the point is, that's why I'm thinking of hockey. So we're at this soccer game, and Van's playing, and it's a bunch of 5-year-olds. And our team's fine. They're, kick the ball occasionally, sometimes make goals. It's mostly just kind of herding cats. But Van's the kind of kid that if another kid falls on their team or his, it doesn't matter. He'll stop and go try to help him up. And there are other kids like that. They're all very kind-hearted little kids. Not on this other team, man. They were shredding each other. And if it wasn't pushing the other team to the side, which Van was not used to getting just thrown around like that, they would throw their own people around because they were trying to get the ball, and one of their own kids, there'd be a pack of 3 fighting over the ball, but they're all wearing black jerseys. And by the time it's done, 2 are on the ground crying, the other one's limping. Like,
my God.
What the frick, man? I don't know what's going on over there. It's just some
Welcome to the Cobra Kai Soccer Academy.
That's what it felt like. It's like
sweep the leg.
It's like y'all are too into this. Someone talked to their coach or something, and then I looked over, and the coach isn't some, like I expected some rah-rah dude.
You're expecting the coach to look like what's his face, like the dude from the Karate Kid, first Karate Kid movie that runs the Cobra Kai dojo.
Can't think of his name, but that guy.
I can't either. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sort I expected, but instead it's just some lady, just some soccer mom. And I don't know if it's just the kids or something in the water or their black jerseys make them seem cooler than they are or something's going on. But these kids were just like pounding each other.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, calm down.
Like if Van goes against them, that team again, just keep an eye on her the whole time and just, watch the coach and see if, they look really nice. But then there's a time that like one of the kids will look over at her and she'll go,
yeah, just nods.
And she'll nod her head. And then that's when the kid takes out another one or
elbow to the face. Yeah.
the finger to the throat thing.
Yeah, it was like weird because, and we got dominated as a result. Like it worked for that other team, but they're 5 years old. They're not even playing like real rules. I'm not even sure we're keeping score. So I don't know why these kids were so freaking competitive, but whatever.
Geez.
It is what it is. All right. We got a clarification on that Canadian gravy story that we had.
Good. Okay, yeah.
Regarding the TMS gravy news.
Right. Somebody sent gravy to the, was it the Prime Minister? No, who'd they send gravy to? Powdered gravy to...
I don't know if it was the Parliament up there.
Trudeau. Yeah, somebody.
Something like that. Oh, no, it was Rob Ford's brother.
Right, that's right.
The mayor of Toronto or the mayor of... whatever.
The coward Robert Ford.
Yeah.
The coward.
The coward Rob Ford.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got this anonymous text that says, regarding the TMS gravy news on Tuesday, the Sunshine List is a list of federal employees that make more than $100K a year.
Wow.
And so I guess that's a note to them to say, here's some gravy for your gravy train.
Yes, exactly. The Sunshine List.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so it's so Canadian because if we had a list like that in the US, and there probably is a list like that in the US, no way is it called anything as fun and uplifting as the Sunshine List.
No. Yeah, I like how you guys do it. You guys are nice.
Yeah.
Even when you're trying to be rude, you're nice somehow. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Also, I got chewed out because I said something wrong. I've been talking about Fargo a lot, into it.
Sure.
I should love the show, playing the games again. That big patch is out for 4 today, so everybody grab that. Just kind of all into it. And
wait, you mean Fallout, not Fargo?
Did I say Fargo again?
You said Fargo. I was like,
it's not the first time.
Fargo lately? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's good.
It's not. It's absolutely just. I do this every time I talk about either show now. I don't know why. Anyway, Fallout is what I meant to say, because there is no Fargo 4 patch today. It's Fallout, everybody. Okay, so I don't get
Fargo 4 patch.
Yeah, because I don't want any more emails.
It just adds a bunch of deleted scenes to the first season, so check it out.
That's right. But here's where I messed up the other day on that. I'll just play the call.
Scott, dude, a couple episodes ago, you were talking about the Fallout show, and you were talking about how you love the music, and you talked about the song called "The Big Sidearm." It's the Big Iron, the Arizona Ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron, big iron.
Yeah, he's right. I don't remember saying big sidearm on his hip, but I probably did. So
that's funny. We finished that show last night.
Yeah.
Fallout. Far out.
Far out. Fargo out.
Fargo out.
Yeah.
Fargo out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loved it. Oh my God. So good.
Yep. It's amazing. Can't wait for season 2. Let's hurry up.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll go into production probably later this year, and they'll probably get it out for the 2025 season. I don't know, but I would love that. So please give me year over year Fargo. Thank you so much. Fargo, freaking Fallout. Give me more Fallout.
I don't know. Holly's too busy working on that Alien series. God, when is that? Do we have a date on that yet? The
2025 is what I heard, but I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I hope that's right. I'm very excited
Maybe
about
you
that.
could combine them and do an Alien series, but kind of in the style of Fargo. Like
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe he will. Maybe that's what he's doing.
See that big Xenomorph over there? Oh, sure. Yeah, you betcha. It's a scary Xenomorph.
But then make it really scary and bloody right after they talk like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm in. Sign me up. I'll whatever. I'll follow that guy wherever he goes. He's so good. I accidentally say Fargo instead of Fallout all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, Alien. It's a series, not a movie. I think wasn't it originally going to be a movie, and then they said no, we're going to do a series, or was it always?
No, there's always a series. There's still a movie coming, but it's not from him.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, Alien Isolation or something.
Nope, that's the video game. You're thinking.
Oh, that's
of,
the video game. What's the
Alien?
Yeah.
Inoculation.
Right.
Alien. Amortization.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that movie takes place between Alien and Aliens, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
That is
the
correct.
Upcoming movie. Yeah.
It is called Romulus. There it is.
Romulus. That's right.
Alien Romulus, 2024. Oh, okay. Good. Still this year. I thought it said it got delayed. I'm glad to hear that it has not. I want to see this. Pretty bad. That director, Fade Alvarez, he made Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake. Those are amazing horror movies.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that guy's really good. So watch.
Did I see the Evil Dead remake? I feel like I did.
2013's remake?
Yeah, I think I did.
Really good. I've high hopes for that guy.
Isn't that one where they find they in the basement they they each find oh no, that's something different. Where the kids who go to the Evil Dead house in the basement, they each find a different.
Oh, no, that's the new one.
I'm thinking of, you know what? No, I'm thinking of freaking Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, no, that's true. But there is a similar thing to the newer one where they're in an apartment building.
Yeah.
The Evil Dead, whatever that was last year. That's like that. The kids all find.
Is it like that? That might be what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of then.
Kids all find separate shit, and then things go to crap. Yeah. Well, anyway, look forward to that. Should be good.
Cool.
We got a question from someone I disagree with, but we're going to read it anyway.
Okay.
It's a comment more like, here's what he says. He says, I enjoy the form. Another non-name on this one. If you guys want your names on your text, you just have to tell me what your name is, because all I get is your number, and I'm not giving those out. I enjoy the format. Exactly. I enjoy the format of half-asses, but it feels lame sometimes because the questions are so hard, it usually comes down to random guessing, winning it all 2-1. But that's just my dumb opinion. Brian, what do you say to that? What do you think?
No, you know what? There are times, because we've had more times in the last couple months, more times where it's been 0-0 coming out of the third question.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit more difficult, but it's not because the questions are hard. It's because you guys, you shoot for the fences a little too often. If you know one for sure, take the point.
Yeah. Take the point.
But I've thrown out questions because I think that they're just way too hard. So you're getting questions that I've even said, yeah, they can handle this one. But
so you're vetting them, sort of, right? I mean, not
I'm
sort
totally
of. You're looking
them.
at all of them before you.
I'm vetting them, and you know what? I hate to say it, I've taken out ones that I thought were. I've taken out one or two, very, very few that I thought were too easy. But maybe I should leave those in. I just felt like it was a guarantee you guys were both going to get 5 points on that one. But I'll, you know what? I'll.
Usually it's just a round thing for me. Like some rounds, oh yeah, that one was impossible to know because I don't know anything about that. And the very next round, it's one I know about. So it's not like it's not like the entire episode's worth of questions are overly hard. Like from my perspective, there are some that are hard, but then you usually have others in that same day that are not as hard.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I that's why I disagree with this. I feel like it's pretty even. It's not.
I agree. And the boy who cried ... name too long to be shown in my IRC chat program says, I just thought the games were for comedy, not for actual competition. You are 100% right. 3 points to Gryffindor.
Yeah, it's for fun. It's
because
not
it is all in fun. And hearing you guys struggle with something isn't the lack of comedy. It'd be fun to kind of have a little mix, but I'll do a little bit better about making sure. I do try to make sure that if I've got a history and a Byzantine Empire or something, that I have movies with James Cameron or something like that in there, so that it's you've got a chance on at least one of the questions to score some points.
I like it. But anyway, we love your feedback. Doesn't matter if you disagree with something we do or not. You guys can send it in. Keep it coming. All right?
Yeah, please. Yeah, we do love the feedback. And we changed up. I think we changed up Feud because it made sense not to give you guys the most points for the easiest answers. I think based on feedback, or did I can't even remember.
I don't remember. No.
But
that might have been something, or it may have been something you were already doing, and the listener just sort of echoed it or something. I don't
maybe know. That's it. Yeah,
something like that. We get that a lot.
Content.
Speaking of people who write in, call in, and give us information that we did not previously have, Dr. Nikki has weighed in on, do brains smell? All right.
That's right. Oh yes, right. Because this all came from babies, and why do babies smell so good? Because you're smelling their brains seeping through their skulls, their soft skulls.
And one of my super educated children, Carter, you over there? She's not here.
Carter did go to college, right?
She did. She graduated college, but somehow she was under the impression that it was because their skin is so thin and their skulls aren't formed that we are smelling their brain, and that it's a sweet smell or a nice flowery smell. And that never sat right with me. I thought that was weird. Yeah. And so when we brought it up on the show, we had a lot of back and forth from different people. Basically, we had put it to bed saying it sounds like bullcrap. But Dr. Nikki has specific experience in her career smelling
she deals
brains.
With sheep brains all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, she has smelled brains before. So she's going to tell us what's up. Here you go.
Hi, Scott and Brian. This is Nikki, a.k.a. Dr. Sheep. You asked about smelling, like, if babies smell good because you're smelling their brain. I have an answer. I'm a neuroscientist. I've smelled actual brain, so I think I can answer this for you. First of all, if you're smelling brain, you're not wearing the proper PPE. You should be wearing a mask, otherwise you're at risk for infection or disease or something. But I literally extracted some goat brains last week. They smell like most other organs, which is like blood. I have never noticed any particular smell to goat or human brain, so I think that is nonsense. Love the show, though. Have a great day. Bye. Don't smell too many brains.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to make sure I don't smell too many brains. But that confirms what I believed right in my gut and soul, which was, come on. Brains don't smell like flowery, cute little sugar balls.
They don't smell like baby powder. You know what smells like baby powder? Baby powder.
That's right. It's the shit you put on that baby or the bath you just gave them. Okay? So quit passing that weird thing around. Carter has officially acknowledged that, that sounds like I was fed bad info. Like, really, you think? Yeah. That's bad info, man. Anyway.
Tally has smelled brains too. Tally, do you have any, you just throw a comment in chat about anything to add about the way brains smell?
Yeah, did you ever catch a good whiff of a brain?
Dr. Nikki brings up a good point, which is the, wearing protection, because no kidding, especially if she's dealing with a sheep that died from some sort of weird bacterial infection,
right.
Oh God, make sure you're not smelling the brains, because that means some of that brain bacteria might be getting in your nose.
Yeah, I assume if you can smell it, it's somewhat airborne, right?
Yeah.
Well, now we got a new question.
When you smell a fart, you're actually taking little tiny particles of poop into your nose.
Oh, well, there you go. Tally's not answering, which tells me that. There we go. No major smell.
I feel like if you really heard what I said, I would have gotten a way bigger reaction to that, because it feels like a what gross Scott out the most.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. No major smell that just like normal organs. Well, see, I don't know what any organs smell like. Like, you don't, Brian. Have you ever smelled an organ? An internal organ?
Hey, let's move on to the next.
like an internal, somebody's liver, their heart or something.
I mean, no, I've never smelled. I've smelled like raw liver when I've cooked it.
Yeah. Okay, that kind of counts, right? And raw liver smells a little like blood or copper.
Yeah.
Like she was saying. So
right. The blood. You're smelling the iron, the blood.
Yep.
Really, basically.
Big iron on his hip. Back to that thing.
Make sure to come smell organs in Las Vegas next week at Viva TMS Vegas.
Yeah, Dr. Nick, you'll be there to help confirm what you're smelling. It'll all be great. Brian, tell us about the Marvel Snap tournament bracket you're making.
Yeah, last night I came up with the idea of, a lot of us who are going to be in Las Vegas at Viva Las Vegas are Marvel Snap players, and it's so fun when you do a friendly tournament. Doing a friendly little battle across the internet is fine. It's okay. I've done it with September and played against Amy. Amy is so damn good, and I got stuck in a battle where she had Galactus, and I had nothing I could do. Basically, the deck I went in there with, I was screwed the whole time. But we're all going to be in one place, and it'll be fun to just put together a really quick, simple, easy bracket for anybody who wants to play. I guess the best way is to just shoot me a DM in Discord or email me or something. I don't want to do a whole Google form for this. Sorry, I've done a lot. I've put out a lot of crap, okay, in the last 8 months since before friggin' Black Friday for this event. Yeah. I want something easy. Just DM me. But or if somebody wants to take this on, actually, that'd be even better. But we'll do a little Marvel Snap tourney. Maybe, it might only be 8 of us playing. Maybe only 10 or 12 of us or something like that. So
how long does a tournament like that take if you had to clock it, do you think?
Each match is probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I do need a hug. I can't wait to get hugs. I'm a hugger in Vegas. Just be prepared. Might be, if you catch me at the wrong time, might be a little, a moist hug, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be smelling Brian's entire
if
set
I'm
of organs.
running in from the car carrying all of Tina's in my luggage, then don't hug me right away. Give me a little chance to.
So 10 minutes a match, and you're talking 8 people. So what are we looking at? That's like.
But those 8 people can all be playing concurrently, right? So you could have 4 of those games going on at the same time.
This sounds like something that could happen during the ballroom time. Then to me, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The board game ballroom. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that seems right to me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
the Animas is going to do you know those games it's on Steam. I think it's just called Marbles, but it's like a bunch of marbles rolling down a slip and slide kind of thing, and you just in chat you say which marble you think is going to win. He's going to do a live stream of that, but we'll be actually live there to pick which marbles we think are going to win.
Awesome. I love that. The one where they all kind of are random at the top and they all bounce around and then you're not really sure which one's going to make it. Oh, I love shit like that.
Yes, Marbles on Stream. That's what it's called, Stoic Squirrel. Just so you know, there is no gambling in the board game ballroom.
No, they're not zoned for it.
Illegal.
Yeah. You'd be surprised what's illegal in Vegas. You'd think that would be you should be able to gamble anywhere. Nope.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I can teach people craps in the board game ballroom. If no money is involved, if no money is changing hands, if they'll allow that.
Maybe they would. Ask. I mean, you should be able to sit around and play poker, Texas Hold'em, and not have any money involved. You should. I'm sure you can do that. You just can't have money. So. They'd have to prove that you're exchanging cash for wins and losses. But
yeah.
Anyway, more on that as we get there. All right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of board game stuff, so don't worry. You don't have to. If you don't have Marble Snap, there's plenty to do. Okay.
God, yeah, so much stuff. We will not have a shortage of fun things to do the whole weekend, the whole week, let alone in the board game ballroom.
Truth. Now this. It's time for the news, brought to you by
Coverville today at noon at twitch.tv/Coverville. Just such an exciting topic today. The National Recording Preservation Board. You're like, what the hell, Brian? No, this is actually kind of cool. So every year, the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress chooses 25 recordings, a mix of singles and albums and things like that, that show the range and diversity of American recorded sound heritage, so that they can preserve it and showcase it, kind of thing. So only 25 a year, and this year it's really cool. It's stuff like Blondie, Patti Page, Perry Como, and newer stuff, Jefferson Airplane, Bill Withers, Lily Tomlin, ABBA, The Cars, Dougie Fresh, La-Di-Da-Di by Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick is getting pulled into the National Recording Registry. Don't Worry, Be Happy, stuff like that. So, Dookie by Green Day, the whole album is now in the National Recording Preservation.
Nice. Well, how do they choose? Is it just stuff that stood the test of time kind of thing, or what's
exactly? And stuff that's representative of the culture and the style of music that is prevalent at the time that album came out. Like, basically, is it well, Max Trollbot says Jefferson Airplane is newer compared to the Wisconsin folk songs from 1937. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, new. It's all relative, obviously, but it's not like they're going to tell you last year's winners from last year's releases.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing. The newest thing on here is the Dixie Chicks Wide Open Spaces. I think this follows the same rules as the 25-year rule of like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, except instead of having to be around for, I guess probably the same thing, right? They have to have been around for 25 years minimum from their first release.
Let's see, Wide Open Spaces,
1998.
This says 2003. Why?
I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It received diamond status then. Yeah, you're right. 98. So yeah, you're right. You're never going to see anything that's like last year. Did I go away again?
I can't hear you.
Really?
I can't hear you.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Now you're back.
What is up, Discord?
What website are you pulling up?
I mean, Wikipedia.
Scott, how many tabs do you have?
2. I literally have 2 tabs: morning stream and this one. So I don't know why it does that. That doesn't make any freaking sense.
I don't get it either. But oh well.
All right.
It's all right.
If it does it again, let me know.
Will do.
I didn't have this.
I'll do this. Maybe I'll do. If I need to, I'll do.
I had I had a whole bunch of calls yesterday, and nothing. This never happened with anybody else, so I don't know what's going on. It's freaking weird.
By the way, I used a device and pulled this thing out of my nose. Is that a problem? Like, is that a?
You're being tracked. Is what that is. Yeah. Who are you?
It was weird. It was a recording of me telling myself to do it after I put a wet towel on my head. It was really weird.
That is weird. Wow.
The deal is, yeah.
It's a good look though, having that hang out of your nose.
I have a whole box of these, and I can't wait to tell people why I have a whole box of these. You won't know in Vegas, but a whole box of these little lights.
They're lights. I was gonna say they look like old radio tubes or something.
They look like little bullets, but they have the tip.
Yeah.
Is, There's a light right there.
Oh, look at that. They're individual. I thought maybe you had to plug them all into something.
No,
that's cool.
They are self-contained little penlight batteries, and this is a thing after Vegas, a nice little quick thing after Vegas.
Okay, very nice.
Yes.
Well, let's get to this news. We got a giant pumpkin story. All right.
It's a great pumpkin.
Yeah,
Scott Johnson.
Kind of is. This guy who took this down a river. I mean, my gosh, you guys got to see this. I'll put it up here so they can see it. Hold on.
Look at that guy.
He looks a little like you, if I'm honest.
He kind of does, yeah. He's got the full-on. Oh my God, he's got a pipe. He's got like the Popeye pipe.
Yep.
This guy wins.
He wins everything. Look at him. He even named the damn pumpkin. It's called Cinderella. Anyway, biggest grown pumpkin in Australia. This is an Australian guy. So,
it's an Australian pumpkin.
Yeah, lucky Phil.
And that pumpkin will kill you.
That's right. Let's see. He had this opportunity after his friend Mark Peacock grew a Royal Easter Show Blue Ribbon Awarded monster pumpkin, is how this is described. 407 kilograms, this thing. It's really big. It's named Tormund. Wow. Even though he wrote Cinderella on the front.
Yeah.
But it's called Tormund after the Game of Thrones character Tormund Giantsbane. Was the biggest pumpkin awarded at any show across the nation in 2024, according to Mr. Peacock. A former Commodore of the Tumut Canoe Club, Mr. Farquhar Harson. Farquhar Harson. Does that look right? Farquhar Harson?
Sure.
Fourth paragraph.
Farquhar Harson.
Farquhar Harson.
You can't Farquhar Harson my property anymore.
That's right. It's not legal here in this town. He said he had attempted to grow a giant pumpkin big enough to paddle down previous years, but it turned out to be an abject and hilarious failure, unquote. It grew to about the size of a softball, rotted, and died.
Oh, bummer.
So when he found out about this big guy, he pounced. It says.
Yeah, I would think you basically would have to wait until it got, don't decide you're going to paddle off in the pumpkin until it's a fairly decent size. Don't start at pimping. This is going to be the one. This right here is going to be the one I'm going to paddle.
This is the pumpkin, yeah. Yeah, it needs to be big before you make that decision. There's actual video of this of him going down the river. It actually looks fun.
I just sent you a photo I took in Vermont when I was at the pumpkin farm with the award-winning giant pumpkin from that year.
Oh my Lord! Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's misshapen, so it'd be much more difficult to paddle in. But
that is a monster.
Just from knowing, all right, I know the size of what a little flatbed trailer is going to be. That's massive.
Yeah, that thing's a single pallet. That's massive. That is absolutely huge. It looks a little wrinkly, like it's been sitting there a while.
It probably has, yeah.
Why does it have a number on it? 1379.
That's how many pounds it is. It's 1,379 pounds.
They have to write that on there. That's funny.
Yeah, for the contest, yeah.
Wow. All right. Big pumpkins all around everybody.
That's right.
Here's a story about a reported armed man at a Scottish train station. Turns out he was dressed up like a Stormtrooper from Star Wars. Yeah.
Aren't you a little Scottish for a Stormtrooper?
That's what I would say. You don't see a lot of Scottish actors. Well, that's not true. Ewan McGregor is Scottish.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Are there any others in Star Wars? I don't know. I feel like we don't see enough Scottish actors who are just allowed to have their accent in movies.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Because even
I'll bet because there were so many British actors in the first movies, right? Like the entire Empire was all British actors, but there probably were a lot of Scottish ones in there as well.
Yeah, and there's some great Scottish actors out there working, but most of them are faking American or British accents all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. Why not just let them rip, man? That's the coolest accent in the history of the world. Anyway, reported armed man. So here it is. Police in Scotland.
I do mean English. Yes, sorry. Yes, English, not British.
Oh, did I? I didn't mean to suggest.
No, me. Nope, me. No, it was me. It was me saying I got just gently and lovingly corrected.
Oh, someone in the chat is telling you. I thought you meant I told you, and I'm like, I do not remember saying that. I had a rough night, but I don't think my brain's that addled this morning. Anyway, a reported, or where the hell am I? Oh, here it is. Police in Scotland said a man who led a train, to a train returning to station turned out to be a Star Wars cosplayer on his way to comic book convention. The man known as Breadmakin Stormtrooper on social media. Social media. You ever been on that social media? It's a hellscape. Was dressed in his Imperial Stormtrooper costume with a Scottish twist. He was wearing a kilt, because of course that's what they do. When he boarded the ScotRail, of course it's called ScotRail. Mm-hmm. I need to just move there.
Now I've ridden BritRail.
Yeah, how was that? How was BritRail? Do you like BritRail?
BritRail took me to Scotland, strangely enough, because I wouldn't think BritRail would go into Scotland, because it's BritRail, not ScotRail, but BritRail.
Yeah, Brittany Rail, named after the famous Brittany.
This is poke.
Yeah,
poke.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
I get you. Yeah. I feel you.
Yep. Poke and then mute.
I thought you'd already done that, but anyway.
I know I did.
He says he was met by 2 firearmed officers, 3 police Scotland, 2 British transport police, and I had a chat with them all in his office. Basically, the firearm he was carrying was just a blaster plastic prop, and they thought he was in trouble. So,
yeah, but he was wearing his Stormtrooper costume. It's not like he was just wearing his Stormtrooper gun on his regular street clothes.
Right. He was just. To me, I would have seen it and went, "Oh, a guy pretending to be a Stormtrooper." I would have never thought anything else. There's no other reason for this guy to do it. And even if you could be sure. People out there unfamiliar with Star Wars, I still feel like if you haven't seen Star Wars, if you're a certain age, you can still identify a Stormtrooper. Yeah, to me, it's like seeing Mario and being confused. Like, you know who this is. Even if you don't care about Star Wars, you know who it is.
I could show my grandmother Carol, who I'm pretty sure hasn't seen any of the Star Wars movies and doesn't care. I could show her a picture of a Stormtrooper and say, "Do you know what this is?" And she wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, that's somebody who's going to shoot up a train station."
It's
that's some science fiction movie character, right?
It's the definition of cultural universality, right? Yes, everyone knows some of these things. It's just the way it is. There's plenty of things like that. There isn't just it isn't just American shit. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. They're just cautious over there, I guess. Over here we have.
He did have the Stormtrooper costume on Hubsdog. It says the man known as the Breadmakin Stormtrooper, which I don't know what that means, was dressed in his Imperial Stormtrooper costume with a Scottish twist, a kilt. So he had his Imperial Stormtrooper costume and then a kilt on top of it.
Yeah, he was wearing the whole getup, and he had a blaster, like the rifle blaster that those guys carried. But here in the States, they make you put an orange tip on those if we can take them out in public. But over there, they don't do that. So maybe that's what freaked them out. I don't know. Well, all right. Well, there's a fun story for you. How about this one? This was sent to us by Gru. It showed up in our Discord. Man grilling in shopping cart using a sword as a skewer was arrested in Santa Monica on the pier. Oh, this would be something to see, wouldn't it, Brian?
I would love to see this, yes.
The man was arrested in Santa Monica. He was seen using a shopping cart and a sword to grill barbecue in the middle of the street. That sounds good right now. Video from...
Just like skewer a chicken and put it on the sword and then roast it, turning it, that sort of thing is what I'm visualizing.
Pretty sure there's video. Let's see. Is there?
Oh, yeah, sure it is right there. The main compartment of the car. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead in the article, but main compartment of the cart is filled with flaming wood while the man uses a sword as a skewer to hold meat over the flames.
Yep. It makes a good grill, like a good lattice work,
I will let you read the next line out loud, though, because it might be the best line.
Oh, look at all that meat he's got going.
Does he? Let me see the video here.
Oh my gosh. There's also a good photo below the video of a cart full of wood burning and then meat on top.
Yeah.
And he's got meat wrapped around that sword. That's great. Anyway, where were we?
I wonder if he's selling it or what the deal is, or if this is just for his own that's a lot of meat for your own consumption.
It's a lot of meat. Yeah.
He's probably, just like thinking that that's how you become a vendor in Santa Monica is just by having food.
Yeah. If you have food, you are vendor.
Just
That's
walk,
what he's thinking.
walk down the street with food, and people will buy it. Heck,
Yeah.
with licenses and things like that.
Let's see. It was before 3 p.m. on Sunday along the Ocean Avenue. In the video, the man is seen dragging a shopping cart through a bike lane. The main compartment of the cart is filled with flaming wood, and the man uses a sword as a skewer to hold meat over the flames. I mean, so far it just sounds like he's cooking meat. Just can't do this in public, I guess.
Yeah.
Man continues down the road, pushing the cart with him, eventually stopping, apparently trying to fuel the flames with Bud Light. I don't know how that works, but that doesn't work.
Yeah, that.
It's not the kind of
I
alcohol.
know it's got some.
you know?
I know it's got some alcohol in it, but it's not. It's not the good kind of like the stoke the flames kind of alcohol. Like,
Yeah, if you pour some I think you can pour like tequila or vodka on something and maybe set it aflame if it's just like
yes, oh for sure. Like the
pure.
spirits, boom, no problem.
Yeah.
But exactly.
But beer? Nah.
Beer will put that flame out. I feel like, yeah.
Maybe he was thinking it would add flavor to the meat. I don't know. Let's say it says also pictured in the cart was a bottle of barbecue sauce. The video continues. The man walks down the road. Eventually, the police department's cruiser pulls him over. Officers get out. The grill master then takes off running. They followed him down the beach, found him.
Oh no! Did he leave the fire behind?
Yep. Yeah, he left it and ran.
Uh-oh.
So they found him, cuffed him. He's in custody now. It's not something you're supposed to be able to do, but I don't know. I think whatever. I guess fire's dangerous, and he's got a sword. There's too many things going against him here, but I don't mind if a guy wants to barbecue out in the street. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Let him do it. You know, I mean, I'll eat it. I don't want his
it's
food.
not safe. You can't have you can't walk down the street carrying, pushing a cart with an open flame in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you have I wonder if you have like a little,
Oh, Brian locked up. Am I locking up or is just he locking up? And also, that's an amazing face he's making. You guys still hear us, right? That isn't just me. All right, I'm gonna
deal with a tedious company.
Yeah.
They send a letter saying that they're going to be working on stuff today, but I wonder if that
could be. But look at that face you were making. It's a pretty good frozen face.
Oh, let me see.
It's pretty good, right?
The sea ladies, just imagine.
Yeah. You want to have that in your life? Hubba hubba. It's a good look.
And it's so funny, by the way, to have the the Infinity Gauntlet behind me, because for whatever reason, it's like it always feels like it's part of the action going on in the foreground. Like,
yeah, it feels like it's not way back there. It's like
right, yes.
Like somebody's like the hand's doing this to you. Whatever your face is making, it's doing it to you from
right,
behind.
Exactly.
Oh man, scary.
Oh, I wish I could sleep that well at night. Look at that.
Look at that guy. Well, anyway, let's do this story.
I was in the process of saying, I wonder if there's a safe, like coming up with a safe version of the way to cook meat as you walk down the street. Is there like
probably in a licensed cart?
Could you cook meat with a taser while you walk down the street?
I wonder about that.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you had a regular cart doing hot dogs, obviously that's a way.
Yeah.
Another way where you're not licensed would be a taser. What else you could do?
Could you have a portable generator and a microwave?
Maybe.
Or even a hot plate?
Maybe that stuff's even approvable. What if you had a giant, what do you call those? The lens, you burn anthills with.
Yeah. Solar, like one of those little solar reflector dishes.
Yeah, do like that. And then
you absolutely could do that.
Yeah, just harness the power of the
flame,
sun.
And really the only thing hot would be the food. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. You probably still have to get a license, but
yeah.
All right, final story. Hospital staff plead with bite victims to stop bringing snakes to the emergency room. Please, people, please. Did my dad lose you again?
Yeah, but I'm back now. It goes away for a few seconds. All right, after the show, I'm restarting. I'll see if that fixes it. Or if they might be in my backyard. They don't have a truck up front, but it's usually the precursor to stuff happening.
Yeah.
But I didn't nothing touched. No applications that are doing stuff in the background. Nothing. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's something on the service end. It has to be for that to happen like that. Yeah. Where was I? Hospital staff pleads with bite victims to stop bringing their snakes to the emergency departments. Quit doing that. We call it emergency room, but in Queensland they call it emergency department. I like that.
The emergency. Oh, let's get to the emergency. And there's the wrong accent. That's not an Australian accent.
No, not at all. But we have an ER, they have an ED, but that's unfortunate because
you don't want to go to the ED for an ED issue.
No.
Yes.
I mean, no shade to anyone with ED issues, but
I got bit by a spider. I need to go to the emergency department.
I'm going to bring my snake with me. Snake bite victims are are endangering medical staff by bringing in the reptiles with them to the hospital that bit them in the first place. In Queensland Wide Bay region, Phil would know where this is, I guess. Doctors have come face to face with some of the world's most venomous snakes, captured by patients believing it'll help them with identification and treatment, which is not the case. Don't bring them in. In one case,
a picture. Bring in a picture. It'll last longer.
Yeah, you'll last longer is what'll happen.
Yeah.
In one case earlier this month, emergency staff at Bundaberg Hospital.
Bundaberg, yeah. I get their ginger ale.
Oh, yeah? Bundaberg ginger ale.
It's good. It's really good, yeah.
4 hours north of Brisbane, were handed a plastic food container with a small eastern brown snake inside of it, peering back at them. The incident has prompted the hospital director of emergency medicine, Adam Michael. That's funny. Why does that sound familiar, Adam Michael?
Adam Michael. Oh, no. Because we know a Dave Michael. Adam Michael.
That's really throwing me for some reason. Anyway, to warn patients to leave snakes alone. We honestly don't want people interacting with snakes any more than they already have, says Dr. Michael. Why is that name familiar? Dr. Michael.
I don't know.
Dr. Adam Michael. Please pick up a white paging phone. I can hear it.
We have a blue, code blue, Dr. Adam Michael, code blue.
I don't know why it's so familiar. Anyway, we're going to take a familiarity break. When we come back from this break, my sister Wendy will be here. We have an email to discuss this all before we get to see her in Vegas. It'll be great. So stay tuned. Brian, why don't you play a song until we do that?
Let's do that. It's the band is called Swerve. They have a brand new EP called The Dark Room. It's coming out June 21st. Big thanks to Clarion Call Media for sending this one along. This is their first single from the EP. It's called Just Pretend. Look, if you like bands like Teenage Fan Club, The Stone Roses, or The Replacements, I do, all three of those, then you'll like this. I do as well. Here's the band Swerve with Just Pretend.
I need to get me an emergency pair of socks.
Don't you unstrap me. I ain't going back. You can't make me.
And we're back. Who was that again, please?
That is the band Swerve and a song called Just Pretend. This is coming out from their brand new EP, which is called The Dark Room. Comes out June 21st. So if you want more of what you just heard, that is where you'll get it.
Sounds good. Let's see if we can get Wendy in. We're a couple minutes early, but she's online.
Cool.
So that should work out okay. Let's see here. We get the ringing. Let's see if we get the singing.
The rings.
You know, she used to sing
Did
back
she
in
really?
the day. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. She doesn't do it so much now, but I think, I don't know, in a pinch, she probably would for somebody if they asked her to or something for like an event or something.
Oh, well, yeah. You know, we've got the karaoke Monday night. I was wanting to ask people, you know, while we're waiting here, if there's anybody who wants to do a duet for a song, I can't, for whatever reason, I can't just go into karaoke solo willy-nilly. I need a warm up. I need a duet situation. So if there's anyone who's like, oh, Brian, I was really hoping we could do that Mumford and Sons, or sorry, not Mumford and Sons. This is the band that sounds like them. I just miss Ma and Pa, ain't nobody else would like you. Anyway,
I have no idea.
If somebody wants to do duet, let me know.
All right.
It doesn't even have to be a lady. I'll do a duet with a dude. Sure.
All right. Maybe we'll do
it's
one
of the
with
girls I've loved before, Julio Iglesias and Willie Nelson. Let's do it.
Perfect. You can be Willie Nelson.
Here's another Minnesota tradition that's not so easy to throw in the garbage.
Oh, look who it is. It's my sister Wendy, who hails from Minnesota, currently anyway. And she's here. Wendy, I just told everybody that you used to sing a lot. Do you still do it here and there for stuff? Hello?
Phone in the pocket?
Oh,
okay, guys, I meant to fix this before.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's fine. You know,
Forgot.
It's been a week.
Okay, yeah, no, I sing a little bit, not too much, but
yeah, you used to do a lot when you were little.
Trained, I know. I sang for so long.
Yeah.
That sometimes when people hear me sing now, they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Well,
yeah,
I was 4. I didn't have a choice."
So somebody walks up to you in Vegas and says, "Hey, you need to sing for me right now." You're probably not going to do it on demand. I wouldn't recommend that.
I could if I knew the song.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a go-to song, like in your car? Like you're in your car, a song comes on that you absolutely sing?
I sing a lot just walking around, like in my house, or I will sing sentences. And so one time a friend sent me this thing that was like, send this to the person if $1 million were on the line, you couldn't tell them beforehand, would suddenly break into song. And I was like, yeah, that would be me.
Wow.
I would probably just start singing for no reason, and it would be dumb, but I'd win that $1 million.
All right. So you basically do a melodic version of what I do, and I just make stupid sounds or yell out things that are in my head sometimes. Like I'll be in the shower and I'll just go, you got what I need for no reason.
Yeah, that's that. It's exactly that. And then sometimes it's a real song I haven't heard in so long, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And then, until I, the earworm, until I sing the entire thing or listen to it, it's stuck for the whole day.
Yeah. I mean, Mom used to run, what was that? You guys had a children's singing group or something.
Yeah, she ran a children's choir and a whole singing group.
Choir, yeah. Yeah, and you guys would go. I remember this one time, there was a place called, oh shoot, what was it called? Anyway, it was all like miniature golf, arcade machines, a batting cage. It was like one of those places.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't remember the name of that place. Anyway, it's now like it's all been bought out and it's like a lawyer thing, and now it's a whole different building. But at the time, I thought it was really cool, and I'd take dates there all the time. Anyway, Mom would get gigs there as the little kids choir director, and you guys would all like get up on their little amphitheater stage up there and sing at that place. And I have a very specific memory of playing joust in one of these game pits. They were like almost like gambling pits. So it was like dipped down into the ground, and I'd be playing that, and I could hear Mom and you guys over there singing something from Annie or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, fun looking back. Now let's look forward to this email. Wendy's a real therapist, by the way, everybody. She helps real people all the time with real problems, and we have a question here, which I think is interesting. It's a bit of a follow-up to something you talk about a lot. We'll keep this person anonymous. To say, hey, self-esteem, behavior, and well-being. Those are all our nicknames. It's pretty good.
That's great.
Says often Wendy refers to mental hygiene as
okay,
quote,
wait, sorry, I have to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I have to interrupt you. Stop. It's the 49th Street Galleria.
Oh, that's it. 49th Street Galleria. That's it.
I'm so sorry. I was like, if I don't say this now, I won't even listen to you. It's going to be a problem. So
I'm glad you did. For a while there, it was like a school extension for somebody, and they kept the towers. You know, they had those big glass towers on it. And and I remember being so sad that they'd gotten rid of the fun part of it. And then the whole thing got wiped out, and they built like buildings for some lawyer, and it just pissed me off. Yeah. Part of my childhood just drowned up.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone.
All right, 49th Street Galleria. Here we go. Often when he refers to mental hygiene as, quote, taking out the trash, unquote, what are some techniques for taking out your trash? I know journaling is likely a part of that process, so it would be nice to know some potential journaling prompts that would help facilitate a productive journaling session. Love the show, though. Thanks. Yeah, we talk about that. You use that term a lot, and often there's some specific reason that term will come up in the context of what someone asked us, but we haven't really looked at it in a general way. Like, what does taking out your own trash mean? Mm-hmm. So let's do that today, because a bunch of people out there, us included, everybody's got a little trash. How do we take it out?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And I think when I say that, probably what I mean more than anything is the own part. Like, you have trash. You need to take it out. It's no one else's job. And I mean, actually, let's just elaborate on the trash analogy. When someone you live with never takes out their trash, how does it get taken out? Well, it's the burden is on someone else, or there's a pile of trash, right? Like, it's not pleasant, right? And then it impacts your relationships, and no one wants to live with you. So that's how that analogy goes. But if we take this like idea of what is internally our trash or our business. We've talked about the shadow before, just kind of the stuff that is yours alone that only you can take care of. That's what I'm referring to. So it could be that you're in a relationship, but some childhood experiences have really influenced the way you interact in certain ways that cause discord in the life you're trying to build, right? And your partner is the one paying the price for that trash that never got taken out. So that's really what I'm getting at. Because there's a price, and I don't know if this is probably because it's on my mind, but travel sports, you guys, what are we doing, America?
Yeah.
Feels insane to me, and I'm not participating in any of that. None of my children are. We're kind of past some of that stages. Plus, my last child refuses to play any sports. So,
Yeah.
But do you think I would have been sucked in? Yes, I would have. I realize I would have. So now I can sit in judgment because my kids did not want to do it.
Right.
But this idea of like, okay, what's happening? So a friend of mine, her kid plays baseball. There is a game on Mother's Day. And my friend's like, who's the dad that decided that Mother's Day was the day for a tournament?
Does feel like a dad decision. Definitely a dude.
Yeah.
Definitely a dude. Anyway, but the idea is like, okay, wait, well, you're like, what does this have to do with anything? If we think about what trash someone has in their life, right? So their own, I'm thinking of like, the Little League parent trope, right? So
Sure.
you're on the sidelines losing your ever living mind at 7-year-olds kicking a ball around, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That is an example of like how someone hasn't maybe dealt with some things and then it's just very public. So we have these extensions of the trash we don't deal with that impacts the people closest to us or impacts our job but I find the youth sports version particularly interesting because regular normal people for the most part, and then there's something that happens. And it's a bit of, it leaks out in a way that we all get to watch, and then you would not know how to find that thread. So this is the problem with how my brain works sometimes though, is I want to go, oh buddy, so you got cut from your high school team or, stuff in your life is rough and it is so fun to have a kid be good and you're having a really hard time not blurring that boundary. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a dumb, very specific example, probably because I'm reading this book called The Gifted School. Please don't read it. Anyway.
Don't read
and
it.
It's all about
it's a sweatshirt. Wendy just told us not to read a book.
Yeah. I don't know what to think.
It's like a book club book, and it's just all the parenting stuff I can't stand. And everyone's like, I love it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't love it. Anyway, but it's a lot about living through your kids and trying to like navigate.
Yeah.
This my kid's gifted, is your kid gifted garbage that happens, right?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so that's on my mind. So apologize for my tangential example, but it's this idea of like, hey, I am not going to work on me at all. I'm going to just live my life. And often what happens is that just living your life, when stuff starts to fall apart or you find patterns start emerging, or like, I just can't seem to be happy at any job I'm ever at, or I can't keep a relationship going, or, it starts to show up in certain ways as you age because there's enough time to establish this isn't working.
Right.
So that's the motive ultimately to take your garbage out, is to free your life up from sort of sticky patterns that sometimes are unconscious and sometimes are really just reactionary to pain or suffering you went through at different stages, right? Or compensating or whatever that might be.
How do you do well, maybe I'm jumping too far. If I am, tell me, but if you've got a situation where you're trying very hard to find what your unconscious garbage is so that you can take it out, and you're kind of doing all you can think to do that, to identify said garbage, and then take it to the curb. And you're doing that, and it feels like, well, the person that I'm either with, let's say it's in the scenario of garbage, let's say it's a roommate. All right. So you can keep taking your garbage out, but if the other person is not taking theirs out, how, and there's probably a tendency to overcompensate for the person who isn't. It's more of like a marriage thing, right? Or
taking all the garbage out, basically.
Yeah, or trying to take all the garbage on yourself.
Out and mine out.
Yeah, that seems unhealthy too, or seems like a bad way of dealing with this stuff, right?
And so So let me put it in terms of like, let's take couples counseling. A very common thing will be people come in and one, they have whatever the conflict that they have is going on. And then you're working with both of them kind of the same time. Sometimes you'll refer them to each get their own individual counseling at the same time. If there's certain, like one is also depressed. Couples counseling is not going to fix one person's depression. So they need to have, their own help over here. And then often I recommend that both are doing it at the same time, because there is this inequality that can occur when one is really working with their stuff and the other one is not. It's like they outgrow, their skill set gets bigger. So it's actually a bit of a risk. And I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but just a risk to a partnership when one person starts counseling, because they start to really grow and change and think differently and experiencing things differently, right? And so I always like to have people both having that same advantage at the same time, because really starting to take out your own garbage and setting healthier boundaries actually would mean you are feeling less and less inclined to take care of the other person's garbage.
Right.
It's usually because you haven't done any of the work. Maybe you're raised in a household where it was very common for you to take on the emotional labor of, is mom okay, or is dad okay, or is their marriage okay? And so you're really used to that. So you meet and marry somebody who also is happy to have you do that job for them, which is take care of them emotionally. And nobody is the wiser. They've just spent 50 grand on a wedding. And
Right.
here we are living our life. And
Right.
so let's take one of those partners goes, I'm exhausted. I'm burned out. I can't do this anymore. They start getting help. They start setting boundaries. The other person needs a chance to also recognize what brought them to that state, why they were so content to have someone carry all of their emotional baggage, right? And so if you just start to do it separately, you can end up creating some more space between a couple than you intend. I don't think anyone's intention is like, oh, let's ruin this relationship. But having people both have a similar chance is important.
Okay, so especially in like marriages and stuff. Obviously, if you're dealing with a temporary situation like a roommate or something, that's different. Or let's say it's a working relationship. Like if you're at an office and your direct supervisor might be the one with all the problems, but you're just trying to take it all on yourself and you don't know how to tell if it's you or them. Like that part seems hard to me. How do you know what trash is yours? You know what I mean? When it's intermingled with so many other people's trash.
It's funny. I tend to find that as soon as I get irritated with something that somebody does in my life, I really quickly look to say, am I irritated? Am I projecting something that I do and getting irritated with somebody that does the same thing that I do and I don't realize it? Like, is their garbage really my garbage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Share
it's
garbage.
It's never, it's always somebody else's garbage. It's never mine. I don't have any. I have zero garbage. I recycle.
Yeah, it's a zero garbage zone. Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out. No, it sometimes it is an awakening. It's not an awakening. It's something that I have to obviously really say to myself, is that really something that I never do? Is that really something that I'm never guilty of? And then it's like, nope, I do it. I can't get mad at this person for doing it because they're doing something that I do, or I got them started doing it. I'm the person who influenced them doing it. So yeah, I have
trainer.
Yeah.
That's
I have my garbage.
Really self-aware.
Say again, what?
I said that's really self-aware. Good job.
Oh, well, thank you. I try occasionally, very, very occasionally, I can be very self-aware.
Right. Well, and you're pointing to something that actually is what I wanted to get into today is how do you know it's your stuff and your issue, and then what do we do about it? And we're going to talk specifically about journaling because that's what the person asked about.
Oh, right.
And why that's helpful. But let's just start with, Brian, we're going to use your example.
Okay.
Somebody does something and your first clue, the first sort of road sign or trailhead is, I feel irritated, or, oh my gosh, what is that? Like you have an emotional response. And if you're very aware of your body, you would also notice that you have a physical response. Sometimes our physical responses are undeniably obvious. Like I am now really nauseous, or
like my ears get hot or something. Like there's something like a pit of my stomach, little pain kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and many people are disconnected from their bodies, and so they're more just fully wrapped up in whatever the emotion is, and maybe aren't aware that their fists are clenched or something like that, right? And so that is our first clue that somebody might have kicked our pile of garbage, right? And so the challenge is we have this focalism problem where we are looking out at the world through our own eyes, and so we center ourselves in most narratives. We're the main character in our novels, right? And so it's tricky to flip the camera and go, what's that pile of garbage that person just kicked? And let me look at it, right? And that's, Brian, what you just said, is I turned it around and said, wait, is this something I do? And this is a me thing, right?
Yeah. Usually my eyes are on the outside of my little force field and looking out at other people's garbage, but occasionally those eyeballs have to roll in. Yeah.
Totally. And maybe you guys have had this experience, most of us have, where you are convinced someone else was wrong and it was their fault or they did whatever. And then when you realize it really was you, that is a very humbling moment. Like, oh, I was parked in the wrong spot or something. You were convinced it was the other person, right? So that is that looking out rather than looking in thing. And so to first notice the feeling, and then you can work with it. Most of us just keep running with whatever that feeling is, right? So some versions of this are, I'm so upset, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to find all the people in my life to confirm that I'm right and that this other person was wrong. So we are just building the case and making it stronger. And that's the opposite of what, Brian, you did, which was, let me take a look at my stuff here. Instead, let me get a team.
I don't always do it. I need to be better at doing it.
You do it always.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. I mean, the fact that you can do it once, I don't know if you can appreciate that. That's
really?
Still pretty impressive.
Geez. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it probably came from what you just described as, always thinking that it's everybody else's fault. And then you realize, oh, wait, no, this one was my fault. And then that just kind of like, let me always check that it's my fault before I go too far.
Yeah. And let me apply this concept really quick back to partner work. Is when a relationship that survives, especially long term, has a couple of really important elements. And one of the most important is their ability to repair. And the repair happens along discussions rather than at the very end, I'm so sorry, and making up. It's along the way, and how you repair along the way. And this is business, this is school interactions, this is any friendship, any romantic relationship. These repairs go so far in building healthy relationships. And they are things like, I think I might have done that wrong, or that's my bad, or I'm so sorry, I realized I was doing this in this dynamic. It's taking the camera off of, looking in just a little, and then being able to offer that I wasn't perfect, or my stuff might have gotten in the way. And you can acknowledge that and build as we go, right? And that it's incredibly powerful. Not so easy to do if you are furious, right? Or if you your eyes are locked straight ahead.
Outside,
and that's what some of these, these emotions do this to us. It's like they take over, and they're literally affecting all of your biology. You may or may not be aware of it, right? And unless you can soothe that, calm that down, and think differently, it's how our brains have been evolved to work. So this is where journaling can be such a powerful habit that is like the opposite of I feel tripped up or triggered, and then I'm going after this thing and defending myself. And some of that might be what was modeled to you. Some of that might be, just avoidance of getting in trouble. If we looked at all your childhoods, then we could find out, like, where'd you learn how to do certain things when it comes to these moments where you're feeling triggered, and why, right? And what you do with it. But let's say we got a trigger. Can you guys give me a good example of one? What's one where you just like, you find something quite annoying, it kind of riles you up, and it can get you every time. And then there's someone near you who it doesn't bother at all. So do you have an example of that?
Oh God, the what about Bob scenario. That's yeah.
I'm trying to think of one. It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm
also trying to, not trying to involve an example that includes somebody who listens to the show.
Yeah, that's always a challenge.
Scott does this.
Yeah.
Here's one. How about I just can't think of anything.
I mean, when somebody makes a judgment about somebody else unfairly, even if it's not me, I feel like sometimes I have to defend them, and sometimes I, defend them to a fault, and whether or not I've analyzed really how unfair their comment was. It's like take the initial shock of it, the initial statement of it, like, oh my God, you just made a complete generalization about this person without knowing anything about them, or made this complete generalization about me without me getting a chance to let's put it on me. Let's point the garbage at me. But
because you can't be the hero in every story.
Exactly. Yes.
But it's the same driver, right? A little bit of like that unfair. Okay, we're gonna have it pointed to you. Okay, so someone just makes a generalization or mischaracterizes you without really knowing you. That can be real triggering for most of us, right? So that happens, and you give me 3 things you're going to just classic do in that situation.
I will I'll fumble for a really sarcastic and snotty response.
Okay.
I will stew on it for much longer than it needs to be stewed on. Like, here, an example, this guy really ticked me off the other day. So I was driving somebody who's doing Lyft, and I was driving somebody and dropping them off. And basically, it was in this apartment building where these buildings are all really close together. There's not a lot of room. And I'm around this corner, and the door that they said they need to be dropped off, or their apartment door, is like right around this corner, right by these steps. I'm going to drop them off at the steps. Great, no problem. So I do that, and there's a guy who's sitting there with his truck, and he's a big old pickup truck, burly ass dude. I mean, there's some people you can kind of make very big stereotypes about, but yes, you can kind of tell. And he's got a boat behind it, and I pull up, and I stop the car. I say, hey, all right, thanks for the, have a good rest of your day, blah blah, what all the general crap I say, like and subscribe. No, and then the guy like stares at me, honks, and yells, "Can't you see what I'm doing here? You effing idiot!" Like, he's yelling, and he wasn't moving at all when I came around the corner. But now that I'm looking, it's like, oh, he's trying to back this boat up into this corner, and I'm kind of in the way of that. But my first response is, no, dude, I couldn't tell what you're doing because you were just sitting there when I pulled up. And then, like, I finally backed off and, backed the car up, but I stewed on that damn thing for such a long time. It's like, I'm sure to him, it was like, there's not a lot of space in there, but like it left his mind almost instantly. But I'm the whole rest of the day I'm driving. It's like, how could that guy get so pissed off at me when he could see I was dropping off a passenger, and he wasn't moving when I pulled around the corner, so I couldn't see that. So I'll sit there. I will just stew on stuff like that for a long period of time. Now, clearly, in his perspective, he was about to start backing up, and then all of a sudden realized he couldn't. But his reaction triggered my my feeling of like, hey, I'm a super conscientious driver. I'm always really considerate to a fault in the car, and that really just got me, because he misjudged. Like, if he knew what a nice guy I was in the car, he wouldn't have said those things to me.
Right? Of all people.
Of
right?
all people.
And also,
yes.
It's what if he is also deeply kind, and he's thought about it all day and wishes he could call you and apologize.
You know what? That never even entered my head.
He is the other.
I see aggressive, angry driver.
Right. And so you have this thing where, without a chance to obviously have a conversation, get to know each other, and figure out your feelings, there was an interchange that came from somewhere. And your part of it is think about, okay, so we have this heightened emotional experience, right? Someone yelling at you means your heart's going to increase and beat. And you're going to, and
that
he's
pit of my
also
stomach or the hot ears or whatever it is. Yeah.
100%. And then it is also doubting you as a person. Like your core identity is being threatened in this moment because you really are the nicest driver ever. And so we have a bunch of things happening there. Okay, so I'm going to apply this to, pull over on the side of the road and get your journal out. But the idea is,
dear diary, today
I am a good driver. Write it 100 times. But if you take the concept though, right? So here I have this experience where I am, I'm elevated. It was an unfair interaction and it was stupid and, whatever. And they demonize the other person. That comes really quickly. That actually makes us feel better a little bit. That's why we often do that. Like, that guy's just an idiot. And that's what he thought about you. That guy's just an idiot. And that's how we all just felt better for a hot second. But the fact that it kept sticking in your craw, like that's the thing that's more interesting. So when something does that to us, this is where you pull out a journal and begin to process. Either just writing what happened can be helpful. Sometimes sort of looking at key things, which are like, was I afraid something was going to happen? Was there a fear mixed in here? And you're just kind of working.
Dude was pretty big, pretty angry and pretty big. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. It's valid. Right. And even that, like, what is going on for me? If you want to go deeper, like, okay, maybe if you were Zen about it and be like, oh, like I must be having a day, and you just moved on. You're like, well, how do I get to that? And that is often because this is triggering some things for you. Whereas we could probably create another interaction, Brian, that you would not think about twice the rest of the day.
That it would just roll off my back like water off a duck's back, basically. Yeah.
And it's because it's not running into your stuff. So we're going to just, thanks for being a guinea pig here, but let's just see if we can identify.
Yeah, please do, because I try to live my life so Zen everywhere else that, that when stuff like that happens, I kind of wonder why I can't just say, well, sorry, dude, something's obviously wrong with you. Bye.
Right. As opposed to what, so give me an example of the sentence. And this is something you might do if you were writing. You would write down the sentence that keeps replaying. So what was a sentence that was replaying in your brain?
It would have been saying something to him that was much more clear about, sorry, man, I really didn't see that you weren't moving when I came around the corner. So just let it go, kind of thing would be my,
Okay. So you were
wishing I would have said something a little bit more de-escalating, I guess.
Okay. So this is where many people are going to resonate with this. I have the argument with the person after I walk away. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So what our brains do in that heightened state, they're actually in fight mode. And fight is, if you think about good conversation during a fight, you guys probably haven't seen that happen in life very often. And it's because literally the lighting up of your brain is going to be moving from language centers to your quads. Like it's going to work to help you fight this off instead of actually communicate, right? So when you see people, when things are confrontational and they're crying, that's another example of like the biology is taking over because of the upsettedness or the elevated physiological state we're in. So our thinking brain is kind of offline a little bit, right? So that's why as that stuff calms down, our brain is like, oh, I have so many good ideas. Let me tell you my ideas.
So many. I know. I hear 18 things I should have said.
Really easy to do later, right?
Absolutely.
And so this is where if you have a journal practice, might be really helpful to write those the fantasy sentences out. I wish I had said this. I wish I had said this. And what happens is when we then are translating them out of our brain, notice people will tell you like, I have so many good arguments. They don't often come and work it through with you. But if you're on your way to therapy, you'd walk in and go, this just happened. Here's what my brain's doing. And then we would work directly with that, right?
Perfect, because it would still be fresh and you could act out like those raw feelings right there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we might find in the sort of some more cognitive space and then even just more integrated space, you can find that like, oh, you know what? I have a long history of big, scary dudes with boats that, tormented me as a child. And they were like, okay, all right, this makes more sense, right?
That's right.
But what happens is most people get stuck in the thinking loop of it.
The chicken was a boat. Yeah. So yeah, please continue.
The thinking loop keeps you stuck. The journaling is what pulls you out of the stuckness of that sort of cognitive loop. Similarly with talking to somebody, this is why we get allies. We tell people the story. We're processing because it's really helpful to get us to get out of that loop. So journaling is just free and you don't require a friend to have to listen to.
And it's just basically like, you're just getting it out. Like, even if I said, it wrote in my journal, that's what I should have said to this guy. I am so going to write about you in my journal. Then he would have totally backed off. He said, oh my God. Okay. All right. You win, dude. It's okay.
Yeah, totally. Also, have you seen the t-shirt that says, I talked to my therapist about you?
No, but
it's similar to I journal about you when you're not
give me a link.
You know? So this idea of you're just processing, though, if we think about like what it is you're trying to get to is back to emotional physiological homeostasis. Let's get me back to that place. So our brain has certain ways to try to do that. The looping's the problem. Journaling is just one way out.
And it breaks the loop, right? Like, basically it's saying, I've now got this on paper, so I don't have to think about it anymore, kind of thing.
Right.
Cool.
And so we have some good research on journaling, and it's linked to improved happiness, better sleep, better memory function, better performance, like, work, personal, anything like that. And so just people do better when they are regularly journaling about their emotional experiences. So this works with health outcomes. This works with emotional, relational, all those things. So here's something just to state, though. If you are like, I don't journal, I can't stand it. Every time I try, it makes me feel crazy. Then it may not be for you. This doesn't have to fit everybody. But if you kind of don't mind it and you haven't really tried it, it might be a really great fit, be worth trying. Some people you'll talk to, they can't live without it because it is so helpful.
Right.
For the people who have a hard time with it, because I'm not, again, I might be one of those people. My handwriting sucks. First of all, I've been so out of practice. I used to have just gorgeous handwriting. I can't write anymore. But so typing in my phone, is there something like, just a couple words, just to kind of say, dude in truck, ticked me off. Or dude with boat, and then just that, is that enough to just kind of get it out a little bit? Like just a few
100%.
words? Okay.
100%. And so you might find as you go along prompts that work better with you. You're leading to my next point, which is there is so many good resources online for journal prompts. Like I just thought, let me Google a couple just to see, and everything I found, I was like, whoa, that is really helpful.
And how did that make you feel is what
and you could write that. That would be saving yourself on your therapy. But it also things of just like, if you just want some self-reflection, there can be just, your little basic, like, or what happened to me in the day, those kinds of things. Then there's others just like, let me give you an example. What did I learn today? Right. What's on my mind today is a great one. Like, what thoughts keep returning today? So that's the kicking of the garbage thing. Might just be, we get so in our head, right? We're living in our own video game. It's not as easy to just pop out of that. That's what this would be for. Like, what's one thing I really want to do and I'd like to start taking steps towards? So they can be very positive things, right? It doesn't have to only be I'm here to hash things out.
The Brian Byrne book. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Make some positive stuff in there. So,
and then you can get real deep too.
So even either like starting the day or ending the day. So not necessarily just doing it after any interaction, difficult interaction, but starting the day with it or ending the day with it. That sort of thing might be, that's not a bad idea.
Starting days often can be like, what does your ideal day look like today? Rating your energy. Like, think about it is like the person who loves you the most in the whole world is just waiting for you to share something with them. And that's a book that is not going to talk back. But like, what is it? Check in on yourself. Think of it like that. Like, what do I need today? Where's my energy at? What am I craving? Like, even just take, that feeling, I think everyone's had it, where you're just like, I need something, and you're trying to find a thing to eat to fill the craving, and it's nothing you put in your mouth
all the time.
And it's because it's maybe not the food you're craving, or you have a vitamin deficiency, something like that. But it's also potentially like, I got to think through what I actually need right now. And I would say if people took the time, whether it's a food craving, an activity craving, anything that's a craving is usually the most outward sort of face of a more inward need.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'd love for someone to give me an example that's not, but I feel like it's pretty applicable to most things. So let's take, I just
Yeah.
want something crunchy and salty. So you eat something crunchy and salty and you're not satisfied.
Right. And you feel
Okay.
guilty because like, oh, this totally goes against my diet.
Right. And then I want to go eat something else until I get, and then you're never satisfied. It's like, okay, well,
Mhm.
what was that actually about? So what if you stop and, check in with yourself? What do I need? And sometimes it's, I need to not be lonely.
Mm.
Or I need
Mhm.
a nap, or I need less things on my plate, or, so going to food or escapism in any form, often if we can peel back those layers and breathe through it and realize what it is, there might be something else going on. And then you're like, okay, I'm taking a nap, wake up. I either don't have a craving or I'm like, now these salty peanuts taste good or whatever. So
Yeah.
sometimes the working through is really what the power is here. And there's journal obsessed human beings online, you guys. There's nothing you will not find. You could just do
Sure.
a year's worth of prompts and follow them every day. You could do specifically if you're working on like self-love or growing gratitude or mindfulness, that kind of thing. There's tons of things you can do in writing and thinking through. The power of writing ultimately is, and some people might have some issues with writing. They were told they weren't good writers, or they failed all their English classes, or they didn't feel like their strength lied there. So it could be verbal. You could just record it like on a memo app. You could type it out somewhere you want to do that. You can sing it, taking it full circle, just sing it randomly in the day. But there's a lot of good stuff out there that from whatever you're struggling with to some guy was mean to me today and he had a boat. Let me figure out why this makes me so mad.
And
Right?
one of our folks in chat, BioCow, said, and do I need to go back and read my notes or listen to my journals, or is it just the act of getting it out there is enough?
It's the act of getting out there is 99% of the time enough.
Mm-hmm.
I have often had people come back to journals later, and that can be really cathartic to see their growth and progress, right?
Oh,
So
yeah. Sure.
there's that value to it. But think of it as much as you can take it out of the to-do list category, because you're thinking, well, anything we make a to-do list, we get in trouble with, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
now we have a reason I don't want to do it, or now I get, right?
Yeah.
And so finding tweak whatever you need to tweak so that it does work. Some people will find that it's a thing I check off and do every day, and that works really well for them. Others, you can maybe do it hit and miss, and you're only going to do it when you notice yourself being really frustrated or triggered. And so the flexibility going in to make it a successful practice for you, I think, is more important than how and what you do. But in the end, just the act of writing it's not about documentation or the act of getting out these things, right? And I think so often we write for documentation, or we think it's going to be read by someone else or whatever. It really is just a mirror. It's going to reflect our deepest thoughts. It's like helping, with our camera eyes going out of our main character energy. It's like flipping it around and really looking through our fears, our aspirations, our emotions, like understanding ourselves. Sometimes it might be like, oh, it is time for therapy, right? And other times it might be like, oh, I just need to do a couple different things in different ways. Recently, I have a client who is just an example of like how self-reflection sometimes is really difficult to do just because we're so busy, right? And the more busy we are, the more distracted we are, the less we feel good. This is maybe like feels radical to go back to archaic writing or something, right? Just to get us back a little more grounded. Anyway, so she has a very high level position. I am her therapist. She cannot tell me what she does, which is always like, wow, I have like legal confidentiality and all that, but she can't because she'd get kicked out and I'd get arrested. Like it's like that kind of job.
Jeez,
anyway, which is so fun. I'm always trying to get her to trick and say what she does, but she won't. She's very good at this. But anyway, we've been working on getting like using journaling as a replacement for the time that she was looking at the news. So even the best and brightest of us have news addictions, guys. Anyway, so what we did was we did a 6-week fast on all news. And this is a person who is supposed to know what's going on.
They
but
need to
does
be informed.
actually knows what's going on, not just reading about what is going on, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and so it's been a really cool process to watch as her brain creates space again. And so no social media and no news. And that may sound crazy to people, right?
I would have such a hard time with it, but I totally get it. Yeah.
And it really is like think of it as like really like a colon cleanse. We're just cleansing the system for a minute. Sure. And then she'll go back to it eventually. But what we found in the in between times, as the shake stopped in the first week, and she just had more space. It's so cool. Like she started writing in a journal, and things were available to her that just weren't. And so that's probably our number one challenge nowadays. I think journaling's been a part of the zeitgeist forever and ever with therapeutic people and just historical, and like, humans have been writing for a long time. But to use it as a therapeutic tool, we're using dopamine as therapeutic tools all the time, right? We're just escaping, we're scrolling, we're doing those things, but we don't feel better. This is so you may hear this and think, I don't have time for journaling. And if that thought popped in your head, listen, someone who's literally physically keeping this country safe, I don't know what she does, I'm making it up, can do it and find, and still the thing is we have this need. And so actually I'm going to tell you one other thing we talked about. I said, so who is in your head as a bad person who doesn't keep up with what's going on? And she goes, damn, Freud, it's my mother. And it is. Her mother doesn't want to pay attention to any of it, right?
Yeah,
and so so that's the power of, let me really look at what is happening here. And so the journaling helped that come out. The conversations with me helped that come out of like, oh, I am sucking my soul into the vortex every day so I can be a good, smart person because my mother, I'm rebelling against my mother. And then to stop doing that because you know it, wow, man, it gives you so much time and energy back that's yours. So that's the garbage, right? That's taking out a little bit of garbage. And sometimes we got to clear our brains in order to do that. And journaling is a great way to do it.
Well, there you go. I feel like this is a practice you've talked about before, and I kind of pick up here and there, and then I forget. And then I do it again, then I forget. I feel like I need to do that more. I always find it cathartic, and like Brian, my writing sucks. I haven't, my penmanship
I know there's got to be an app that like will prompt you in the morning, like, hey, jot down a couple quick notes today. Like, how are you feeling today? What's something you want to accomplish today? And then at the end of the day, did anyone in a big truck with a boat piss you off today? Question mark. And then you respond with your response.
And then when you could just fill in the blank. Does journaling help with, and then write down the thing you struggle with. So I just did that and it filled in with oversharing. Does journaling help with liking yourself again? Does journaling help with, and just go to some of those sites where intrusive thoughts, negative thinking, blah, blah, blah. And you can just find prompts left and right. You can kind of create a thing for yourself to follow. I have been doing this since my last birthday. And I'm going to brag about it because it's going strong. I was born in November. So look at me. Is every day I write a very small sentence. It's usually like, oh my gosh, I worked too much today. But I write something small and then I sketch. And I don't sketch, guys. This is like you saying you're not good writers. I don't draw well, right? And so it is so cathartic and fun. And you know who will never see it? Anyone. Never. Ever.
Not even going to show your brother, huh? Like let your brother rate your sketches.
No,
I want to see
lit
him
on fire. Because I am trying to access the writing part. It is fine for me, and it's just easy for me. I don't have to think too hard about that. Whereas drawing feels like I am putting my soul out there, and I like the challenge of it. And as I've done it every day, I'm more and more comfortable. And guys, I have no imagination. We all know this, so I have to Google. What is something people sketch? And then I sketch every day stupid things other people thought of. And but it does it gives my brain something it needs. And I could, scroll on Instagram, or I could do that. My brain feels so different after each of those things.
Now, I'm going to recommend a book to you because I got one of these for Tristan that he really liked. It's a book basically full of prompts. So you open up the book, and the page is a blank page with a piece of text. Draw a waffle. And you just, you don't need to Google what do people sketch. You've got it right there on the page. Draw a waffle, and you just draw.
You are failing to remember. I don't have an imagination, so I have to.
Did you know what a waffle looks like? You have to see a waffle to draw a waffle.
I cannot draw a waffle. I can copy someone's waffle.
You can draw it. Okay.
So you're Googling photos like what do people sketch, not Googling, text that says, "Oh,
yeah." So I've looked at prompts. I've looked at prompts before, and I thought, yeah, and there is an absolute block. Someone needs therapy. So there's an absolute block. I can't do it. But if I look at a picture of a waffle, I can almost make it look perfect.
I'll bet. Well, don't worry about making it. No one's going to see it. It doesn't have to look.
Not
perfect.
that. I'm just no one's going to see it. But it's that I can mimic. I just cannot.
All right, I'm going to find a book. There's got to be a version of these books that has a little. Here's how to draw like on every page. Draw a waffle. Here's what a waffle looks like. It gives you a big wide open blank space for a waffle. By the way,
and what I'm going to do is send Scott a picture of something I drew just really quick. It is it's the head of a giraffe coming around a corner, and it has the creepiest human face on it. And because I can't draw, and Peter is obsessed with this. He stole it when I wasn't looking. He has framed it in his bedroom.
Is Scott allowed to show me?
I will. You guys can all see it. It's creepy, weird, and it's because I have zero talent, but somehow I captured some essence that he finds absolutely mesmerizing.
Did you already?
Which tells you how weird my child is.
You gonna text it, or how are you gonna get it to me? Probably.
Yeah,
text,
I'll text
right?
it.
All right.
I will take a picture of it and text it to you.
Okay.
While you're doing that, Matuba reminded me, it's really funny because when this popped up on my home screen, I immediately moved it out of my home screen. But in one of the more recent iOS updates, Apple added a journal app that prompts you to actually like fill out your day or talk about what you want to accomplish today or how you feel today or whatever. Like it is literally built into the Apple software. So there you go.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Yes.
Of course it is. And if that doesn't work for you, find something that works for you. Okay. I'm going to take this picture. You're going to think it's so dumb.
I have no doubt that I will like it. I will not find it dumb. I
can't wait to see this.
So here comes you guys.
Well, and also let me just say, he put it in a frame. It's so weird.
Peter put it in a frame?
Yeah, he framed it, and I don't know. I'll just.
That kid is so my brand of weird. I love
know, and it's freaking me out. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, when his guts were on the outside, you had no idea you would eventually raise a version of me with no belly button, right? You didn't know. You had no idea, and I understand.
You were the fake belly button.
I was the fake belly button. All right, so I'll watch for this and pull it up as soon as it comes up.
Cool.
Also, I will say this about Wendy's time in Vegas next week. If you're coming to Vegas with us, we have some really cool. Oh my gosh, Wendy, this image. Sorry.
Oh no, we can't wait to see this.
Oh geez, I love it. I actually love this. This is amazing. This is so. There's a raw something going on here. Here, Brian, and put it in our thing.
Cool.
I know. Someone needs help.
There's some kind of it's hard to explain. You know how when 5-year-olds draw things, and I don't mean that you look like you draw like a 5-year-old. What I'm saying is,
I know what you mean. It looks like a 5-year-old.
There's something about little kids when they hit a certain age. Like Van's at this age right now. He's 5, and when he draws stuff, it's got like a weird power to it, like a weird I don't even know how to explain it, but that's what this is. That's actually a legitimately cool thing. Yeah, I love
this. This is awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, everybody use that for your avatar on Twitter and stuff.
I tried to draw a giraffe face. That's the problem.
Yeah, but you gave it lips.
I think we need to look at why you made it look. Who is that? Who is that person, Wendy? I think that is a person in your life. Who is that person?
Yeah. I think
you gave Scott?
I mean, you gave it lips. I don't have those lips. I have no lips really, but giving a giraffe lips is a real choice, and I'm here for it.
That's a choice.
That's amazing.
The nose is really well done. I don't know. I mean, you know.
I have a feeling she has nascent talent for this and just has never explored it.
Yeah. I got a 5-year-old's unfettered core drawing potential. So that's
because I'm telling you, when you get over a certain age, you start worrying about what everyone thinks about your art all the time, and it can affect the quality of it. When you're 5, you don't give a crap, and it's just raw creative juice, man. It's something
and that's
special.
what my journal is. It's the writing. I think I'm probably more critical of, right? But it's the drawing where I'm like, I'm gonna be free to be me.
If you,
thanks everyone.
Some people are getting tattoos in Vegas. So if any of you want to get a tattoo in Vegas and base it on this, you should use this. I'm gonna stick it in the TMS group, and it's up to you. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. You show up on Monday or whatever it is, and you like someone shows up and says, "Look at my arm, Wendy. Look what I just did this afternoon."
You would have to take photos and send them all to Peter to show Peter all the.
And you know what he'd say? He'd be like, "Absolutely, that makes sense," because he loves it so deeply.
Yeah, he knows. He knows what's up. He has an eye for it. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Wendy, always a pleasure. Next week we'll all get to hang out, and there's a cool something coming
excited.
up. Yeah.
Real quick, let me tell everyone this on Wednesday morning. If you are in Vegas on Wednesday morning, we're gonna meet on Barry's Patio. That's officially what it's called. Barry's Patio at 10 o'clock for a fun announcement. Scott and I have an announcement. Yep. And then I have an announcement. So come curious if you would, and willing to maybe do some fun things.
We did a DNA test and found out we're not actually siblings. No, that's not what's happening. Yes, so don't worry, it's going to happen. It's going to be great. You guys are going to want to hear this, and even if you're not in Vegas, we'll make sure you all know about it after. So don't worry about it. Yeah. Wendy, have a fantastic rest of your time. Hopefully things aren't too crazy before you leave, and I'll see you when you get in.
Yeah, see you guys. Bye.
See ya. Bye now. My Aunt Barb is more excited to meet Wendy than anybody else or any other thing that's going on in Vegas.
I don't blame her.
As soon as she found out that Wendy was going to be there, she lit up. So.
Good. That's how it's supposed to go. Wendy is good stuff. She doesn't even realize how good of stuff she is sometimes, but she is good stuff. Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for our show today.
You are all not allowed to ask my Uncle George and Aunt Barb any personal questions about me.
No. Or just when Brian's not in earshot. Make sure you do that.
Exactly. I got to be there to vet the questions. I will have to be around. Yes.
We did it, guys. Luke from Boulder wrote in and said, "Hey, Luke from Boulder here. You gents did it. My last text from late March was about the pronunciation of the name Rise, or phonetically Rees. When Matthew Rees came up today, y'all said it properly. While my text wasn't called out directly, I'm taking it as a win that somewhere in your subconscious, my Rees like Reezy's pieces mnemonic did the trick. You know what? I'll give you credit, Luke. It did.
100% did. Yep. That was absolutely in the back. It must have been in the back of my head when I said, Reese, like Reese's Pieces. Yep. So there we go.
There you have it. Okay. What else is going on? Oh, if you're wondering what else is coming up, we mentioned today at noon. You got your Coverville live at coverville.tv, Frogpants.
Coverville or twitch.tv/Coverville.
URLs, they're hard. But if you're wondering about everything else, there's a skim today at 1, core tonight, all these other things coming up this weekend before we leave town. Frogpants.com/schedule has it all there, and it's all current. So go check that out and find out what shows you want to be there live for. It's going to do it for us. Frogpants.com/TMS for everything else. Brian, let's play a song and go.
I like that idea. It's weird. I quit everything, even had the showbot in the background, quit all that. No problems during Wendy's segment, but then it just blipped out on me again, audio, while you were doing the.
It's weird. Did you confirm?
Stuff.
Did you confirm anybody's in your backyard or doing anything?
No, I can't see my backyard, and I'm still looking for a truck to go by. But it's got to be TDS has got to be doing something. So I thought, all right, well, now I'm sure that it's not something local because there's nothing. I don't even have any apps. We've got the 2 Google Docs that we use for the show up right now. And that's it.
Yeah, it's got to be something they're doing. But ISPs, exactly. They're the worst. I guess you need them though. Right. Anyway, let's do a song. What do you got?
Yes. Ambassador Domo, a.k.a. Robert Monty, said, "It's my birthday. How the hell did I get to 60? I was born the same day as the Ford Mustang was first released. Is it too early to get a fish sandwich? I suggested a song, but if not possible, any 80s era song cover would be great." Now, this was on the 17th, and he did send me one today that reminded me, are you getting my other requests, Brian? So, yes, Domo, I don't know how I missed it last week. I was doing a lot of catch up last week, and there were like 4 or 5 that were on the 17th. We didn't do a show on the 17th, did we?
Oh, no. That's why. Yeah. We were off that day.
We were off that day. So,
is that a Thursday? That was Thursday, last Thursday, right?
Oh, no, it was the 18th. So never mind. We were there the 18th.
Oh, we were.
Just had another 17th request. And I probably was going to push yours to the 18th, and then it got.
Well, he can definitely have one of these.
Hey, it's too early to get a fish sandwich?
Hell, you can have one of these.
Hey, is it too early to get a fish sandwich?
You get both of them, man.
Get them both. Excellent. So Domo, sorry, man. Hope you're doing okay in that abandoned church that you call a house, and hope you had a wonderful, wonderful birthday. His request, great one. This is just recently came out on the the Kung Fu Panda 4 soundtrack. There is a spectacular video that goes along with this. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. This is Tenacious D and their cover of Britney Spears' Baby One More Time.
See you in Vegas.
Get more at frogpants.com.
I saw the insurance forms from your weenie doctor.
Yeah, I sure did. We